Hello, welcome to Pamphlet Global. I'm Raja Munib, and on Flashpoint today, I have with me two eminent guests to discuss what's happening in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Now, we have seen protests happening in POJK for last 3 days, and today they have culminated into a march in Muzaffarabad. The numbers that have been coming in from people who have been injured and have died is about 19 people have been killed in these protests till now, and about more than 135 are reportedly injured. But today only there are about 32 injuries and 5 fatalities. Now there are also reports that 5 policemen have also died, including a DSP of police. Then there is something very disturbing which has come in, an audio which came in, which I would like to play now, where there are reports that the Pakistani Rangers and the military have actually gone ahead and raped women in after barging into their homes and during these protests. So that is another dimension which is happening in POJK. But I will begin this debate with Ranjan, sir. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for taking out your time. I would like to ask you, since you have served in this region for 6 or 7 times, sir, and you've been on the LOC as well, this persistent, protests from last 3 years with POJK, where do you see this, the culmination of this, and where do you see this is heading this time, sir? Is it any different from the last protests?
Yeah, this more intense, and the way the things are developing over the last 3 days, it's really cause for concern. the the problem, in case we want to really go into and compare it with, for example, with 71, when the East Pakistan got established, the Bangladesh, I think they are on the similar lines, which I can really foresee, although it is not at that intensity, but definitely the voices, the POK people are, or POJK people are now understood the importance of joining hands with India, coming back to the same state, rather than being part of the ever increasing atrocities by the Pakistan military and their rangers and whatnot. So I think there is some voice of concern which is coming up and which is being curbed by these. And as you're saying, the voice recording has come up where the atrocities have really touched the heights, wherein if the rape, if this we have to believe that thing, I think this is a very big cause of concern. Now, I think there is a time which is approaching, and from our side, having seen the people on the close to the LC, how these people are flourishing this side of the line of control, and what's actually happening the other side of the line of control is really incomparable. So I think the time has come in to take some decisive action now.
Before I come on to you, Levina, I want to play that audio for you to listen to that audio what I have received from POJK. So let's listen to that audio, please.
रेप करना शुरू कर दिया है यार इन्होंने वहाँ पे औरतों का रेप करके और उनको गोलियों से मार रहे हैं ये सीन जो है वो शुरू हो गया ये कोई फौज वौज नहीं है डॉक्टर साहब ये माफिया है ये जो है ना एवन ये अंडरवर्ल्ड है पूरा ये जो है ना ये फौज नहीं है ये अंडरवर्ल्ड माफिया है पूरा तो मतलब ये वो है जिस तरह जापान में याकूजा वगैरह नहीं है जिस तरह पूरे मतलब एक यूनिफाइड एक जिस तरह माफिया होता है ये वो है असल में ठीक है क्रिमिनल्स हैं ये सही दहशतगर्द ये हैं असल दहशतगर्द हैं ये
Thank you. Now, Lavina, my question to you is, you are somebody who actually tracks Pakistan live. There are very, very few people who actually, been doing this for a very long time. Yeah. And, we have seen these allegations coming in KPK. We have seen these allegations actually coming a lot from Balochistan. And now we've seen the same pattern in POJK. So what do you make out of this, that where is the Pakistani army faltering with POJK, or is it a blanket kind of an approach that they're applying to each and every citizen of them when they rise up for their democratic rights, of whether it is being electricity or it's as simple as something like food, like wheat.
I think Pakistan army doesn't know anything better, because when you go around with a hammer, all you see is a nail. So, they do not know how to handle democratic protests. We saw this in Baluchistan also. They had a female leader, carrying out democratic protests, or very peaceful democratic protests, and she was put behind the bars. And again, she was labeled a terrorist. The same thing happened in POJK. Same thing is happening in KPK. They do not. Pakistan army doesn't know anything better. They think the only way to rule is to use their hammer. So unfortunately, the is the common Pakistanis who are suffering. And I think it works in India's favor if POJK remains in chaos like this. And as far as your question is concerned, where are they headed? Is that what you asked me, right?
Yes.
I really think only one place which is now left is Pakistani Punjab. Rest of it is imploding, be it Balochistan, be it KPK, be it POJK. And if you even if you look at the insurgent groups and their attacks have increased. They have only increased since last 4 years. Be it Balochistan again, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and POJK. I was surprised. TTP's highest number of attacks have been carried out in POJB in last 10 years this month. I mean, the last month. So, as far as insurgency is concerned, the number of attacks have increased. The protests have increased. The wave of protests are only bigger. They're not able to handle it. Things are going out of Pakistan Army's hands, and the only place which is safe for them is Pakistani Punjab. With the rivers drying, I believe even Pakistani Punjab will face chaos. And all this is happening right in front of us. I mean, since Operation Sindoor, they had been trying to increase the presence of the terrorist groups along the LOC. Just a week ago, we had spotted Lashkar-e-Taiba carrying out reconnaissance mission in the higher infiltration point, which is which is near Noori Top and Rati Jheel. These are high. I'm sure Ranjan sir knows better. It's a high infiltration point, and these guys will get direct access into Kupwara. So these guys, Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists, they are not able to infiltrate through the lower altitude infiltration points. We are forcing them to pay a higher price for training their terrorists, because only specialized group with a certain gear can enter India through these high altitude infiltration points. So I think Pakistan army is actually feeling the heat right now, be it from be it vis-a-vis the terrorism or handling the protests.
Thanks. Ranjan sir, I'd like to ask you one thing. There's a lot in India where they're saying that as Lavinia also said, this is strategically good for India. But at the same time, there are a lot in India who are jubilating with the fact saying that the POJK protests are now something which Pakistan is going to feel the heat from. But the problem is that within POJK, there are still terror camps which operate. Lashkar-e-Taiba has one of its biggest terror camps there. UJC operates out of there. So how is it that when we talk about taking back the POJK or saying that it's coming back towards us, how does that dichotomy plays within where the people of POJK are still, I would say, overwhelmingly supportive of terrorism against India, but at the same time they're facing the worst terrorism from Pakistan?
The issue is two, three folds. One is that the people of POJK has very little say as far as the insurgency or militancy is concerned. The Pakistan army is very, very powerful there. As Ravina had said, the Punjab is also only the state which is stable. Now, coming back to the Punjab is the nerve center. Punjab is the power control center of the entire Pakistan. When we talk of Pakistan Army, there are two kinds of officers in the Pakistan Army stream. One is Punjabi officers from Punjab and balance. There is too much of partiality, too much of sheltering of the Punjab region people vis-a-vis other. They don't let them come up. You take any higher positions, they're all from Punjab. Now, the coming back to the situation on the LC where the camps are, I was recently there, and I took some kind of briefing there and some kind of interaction. There are launch pads, there are training camps all across the LC at different locations. We are all aware, as Op Sindoor, we have hit them also. Before that, also during after Pulwama, we had hit them. Now they are functional, but as of now, the irony is the people of POJK have got no say. These are coming from the Pakistan Army through the intelligence so-called agency, that is ISI. They are in full control in collaboration with the Pakistan Army. So the situation is, as far as getting out of the situation, POJK, the protest, is going to have repercussion as far as the things are concerned of the people moving into the LC and crossing over to us. I think there is going to be impetus on that. There is going to be increase in that. Because of this, as she said very rightly, Pakistan Army follows a different principle. What is in Balochistan, they are ruthless. They don't believe in human rights. They are actually violating all kinds of things. So in the times to come, like they have already declared the JACC as the terrorist organization. With that, the power come more in the hands of Pakistan Army and the controlling agencies. So any activists of these are going to be now facing the brunt. So I think situation is getting worse day by day.
Lavinia, before they declared JAC a terrorist organization, something unprecedented happened where a commander of Lashkar-e-Toiba basically went ahead and threatened the protesters by saying that we will not let you carry out these protests in POJK. So Lashkar-e-Toiba directly meddling at the behest of Pakistani army and threatening the people of POJK. How do you see the dynamics now playing out between the terror organizations that are placed in POJK and also the locals of POJK?
That's a very important point because just yesterday also I saw Faisal Nadeem. He's a US designated terrorist, put out a video and he was speaking against the protests in POJK. Now this guy, Faisal Nadeem, he runs one of the main branches of Lashkar-e-Taiba in Karachi. He heads the Sindh the LET proxy PMML. He heads PMML Sindh, and this guy, he has been putting out a lot of statements against these protests. So as far as terrorism and Pakistan Army goes, we know it goes hand in hand. For example, just last year in Islamabad, when it flooded, sorry, Rawalpindi, when it was flooding, Pakistan Army actually used PMML, which is a Lashkar-e-Taiba proxy, their help to to carry out rescue missions. So that's how much they are relying over such proxy groups. And then when it comes to how POJK people in POJK are taking this, it reminds me of Chotu. Remember, Chotu was the terrorist who was killed in July 2025 by our forces, and his original name is Habib Tahir. He was from POJK. He was an FT foreign terrorist. So this guy was somehow involved in Pahalgam attack. When he was killed, the Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba coordinator Rizwan Hanif, who works mostly from Mirpur, this guy had gone to Habib Tahir's village. Now there, Habib Tahir's villagers had beaten him up because they accused him of recruiting Chotu, who was part of JKSLF. It's a Lashkar-e-Taiba proxy, but it is basically a student organization. So as students itself, these guys are recruited by these terror groups and then they are sent across India. So Habib Tahir was recruited as a student and then he was sent into India. He died. He was killed. And when Jaish-e-Mohammed and LET's coordinator Rizwan Hanif went to his village, people beat him black and blue. That shows the anger people hold against such terror organization. Another incident that happened was an operation against two guys in POJK. This guy was again, it happened I think after Operation Sindhu, somewhere in June 2025, when two brothers were killed by Pakistan's counterterrorism department. Pakistan labeled them as ISIS terrorists, though these guys were ex-LET and they had returned to normal peaceful life after quitting Lashkar-e-Taiba, but Pakistan army had tasked them to carry out certain contract killings within POJK of those people who were supporting India. So, is there a problem? I hope I'm still audible, sir.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
So I'll
Kunal sir
continue.
will be back. He just faced an issue with his
Okay,
electricity just
I
right
think
now.
I'll continue then, right? So
Yeah,
these
yeah,
two
please go ahead.
brothers were, yeah. So these two brothers were killed because because they refused to take action against. I mean, they refused to cooperate with Pakistan army. Now these are ex-LET guys. Um, that also shows how Pakistan army deals with such people. Anyone who joins terrorism and then leaves it, again, it comes with certain repercussions. They were labeled ISIS terrorists and they were killed. When they were killed, two of their friends were also killed in the same encounter. All four of them were labeled ISIS terrorists. Shows I don't think I have to quote another example because this pretty much proves how Pakistan army functions within POJK and the kind of mood, I mean, the kind of anger people in POJK right now have against Pakistan army.
I think we have lost Raja. Raja, are you there?
So he will be back in 2 minutes. He just
Okay.
faced a power failure at his office right now. He's
When this is
coming
the
in
first
2 minutes.
time I'm coming onto this platform.
We can continue the discussion.
So,
We,
yeah,
we, we can hear
Uh,
more from you.
could I ask you a question while Raja
yeah,
is
please.
Sir, what is the physical significance of Muzaffarabad and Rawalakot, Punch district? I mean, their side of Punch district, where these protests are happening. I mean, I know they have one of their major bases in Muzaffarabad. I see all these places, Rawalakot, Muzaffarabad, Sudanoti, all of it, all of it. Feeling the heat of these protests. I just wanted to know what are the how do you as a military analyst, how do you as a veteran see it? Because these area are, from what I understand, very significant militarily also for Pakistan army.
Yeah, these are the areas which are the hub of activities as far as the proxy war activities of Pakistan army is concerned. They have their strong bases there. They have the strong system operating there. And the relevance of these are that they have already these places under their control. So they are very Muzaffarabad, Rawalkot, all these places. If you see the things historically, they have been used to actually proliferate the activities or the they used to roam around openly. At one time in Muzaffarabad, there used to be about 900,000 terrorists in that camp, much before when we struck it after Pulwama by Indian Air Force. So it used to be an open thing. They are roaming around with weapons in the entire market. And so this has an effect on the local population. So when they are, facing or finding all these terrorists moving around like Lashkars, so there is some kind of psychological and physical presence. So I think that is the main issue. Pakistan Army has got a strong hold there.
Okay,
Raja, you
I
back?
hope yes, sir. Sorry, we had a power failure. We have a very bad weather out there,
I
so we
know
just
it
had a power
happens.
outage. Yeah. So I'm coming to the international domain. Lavina, I'm going to ask you this question first. Is that in 2024, Pakistani government in Islamabad High Court basically went ahead and said that POJK is a foreign territory because Pakistan's constitutional reach cannot be implied on this. Now, when Pakistan itself goes and puts it on court record, when the judge asked a very simple question, how is Pakistan's intelligence, military, and administration then in POJK? Now, from 2024, we have seen those protests going on those 12 seats as well. So when Pakistan in its own courts admits that POJK is for a foreign territory, then how does Pakistan has the spine to go to UN and says that we have to solve the issue of Kashmir because Pakistan in reality is under occupying a foreign territory by themselves, and where does these protests then link up to the Pakistan's foreign territory narrative on Kashmir?
As far as Pakistan government and Pakistan army is concerned, they're capable of doing anything. Remember Mrs. Lodi going and showing this picture of a guy who was injured and he had pellet injuries. That guy was actually a Palestinian, and I think he got hurt somewhere in Gaza. But
Yeah,
they
she was
used that.
in Gaza. Yes.
Yes, and they used that picture. They had the audacity to use a picture of a Gazan as a Kashmiri, and I mean, it was not on social media. It happened in the United States, United
Live
Nations.
on.
Yeah, yeah, and if they are capable of doing that, they are capable of spreading any sort of propaganda. As far as POJK being treated as for a foreign territory is concerned, I mean, look at their bureaucracy. They use non-local bureaucrats there. They do not use
Did you
Kashmir.
please?
Those who are from POJK. This is why they get all the perks, also the elite privileges that comes for the bureaucrats. It it clearly shows. So these non-local bureaucrats are not Pashtuns, they are not Baluch, they're Punjabis, and they get elite treatment inside POJK. And as far as the negotiations are concerned, the Pakistani government had accepted some bit of JKJAC's you know points, but they said when it comes to elite privileges, it's non-negotiable, because these are the perks because of which the Punjabis go and serve in POJK. Very recently, I met somebody who called herself a Kashmiri from Azad Kashmir or POJK, because she's a Pakistani. She said that, and she had a very very thick Punjabi accent. I knew she's only half Kashmiri or probably not Kashmiri at all. They're mostly Paharis. That's the kind of propaganda they've been doing since so many decades. They've been labeling these half Punjabis as Kashmiris, and so it is a foreign territory. This is one reason why they use the hammer. They go about using their hammer on any kind of protests that happen in Muzaffarabad. I'm so sure you've been covering Pakistan and POJK since so many years. One of my Pakistani friends, used to say that in Muzaffarabad, whenever they're protesting, they put on a black band because they cannot protest openly. They protest because they put on this black band and show their protest. It's like having this cricket matches where the cricketers put on those black bands and they protest. Same way, people in Muzaffarabad used to protest. So they do not have a voice. People in POJK do not have a voice. The elections are sham. It's the 12 seats that you mentioned, which are reserved for the 12 refugees from in Indian side of Kashmir. It is used for political maneuvering. And look at that ministers from POJK. One of them was Mazar Said Shah, who was a well-known Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist, and he has confessed it himself. So when they're ministers in POJK, they are themselves hardcore terrorists. How do you expect the government to be? They all have terrorist links in POJK. Whoever runs the ministry or whoever runs the government in POJK, they're all either terrorists or foreigners. Foreigners as in
So bringing
outside.
this
They're not.
outsiders, yes.
Yeah.
Understandable. Bringing this debate to an end, sir, Ranjan sir, please tell me something. For how long are Pakistanis are going to protect Punjab for Pakistan? For example, this elitism where they're hammering, what Levinas rightly says, is hammering and chipping away every part of Pakistan just to protect the Punjab, and it's going to be Punjabistan. For why is it that one Pakistani army does not realize that it is itself balkanization of Pakistan? It's the biggest catalyst of that. And the second thing is, for how long will they be able to survive this kind of behavior what they have with their own people?
Yeah, if you look at that, Pakistanis have all the problems at their hand. If I see the future map of Pakistan, all of the states fringes gone, only the Punjab will remain as Pakistan. You never know. But however, notwithstanding that, they are actually maneuvering well with the US, with the all those powers and getting the funds. But I think it's a big challenge coming up with them, and especially coming on to the localized problem of these 12 seats. They have the courts have of their have ruled that it is not an administrative solution. It needs a constitutional amendment, constitutional thing, which will never happen. So, coming back to your point, how will they? So, Punjab is the power station, powerhouse, and I think they are well entrenched. Their economy is totally shattering. I don't know how will they come out of this. Their internal problems within the Pak army. There is a big wide gap between the officers and the people other than officers. JCs of war. They behave like a Gora Sahib. There are a lot of problems in that also. In Balochistan, they are facing such massive counteraction, and the people of Balochistan are showing them what is this actual position. So overall, I think the situation is quite difficult as far as the Pakistan is concerned, and let's see how it comes out to be. How the as far as this local thing is concerned, how the JSCC people get back their leadership. How will they remain constant? Together. Will they be able to? Pakistani army will be able to break them or not? I think time to see.
Lavina, where do you see going from here? Do you think that these protests are going to continue for a long time, or do you think that finally there is going to be some ice which is going to be broken between the people and the Pakistani administration from here on?
I don't think Pakistan army or Pakistani establishment will consider any of the points that these guys are asking. I mean, it reminds me of China actually. So, in an attempt to protect Beijing, everything, all that flood water that rushes towards Beijing is diverted to other states. Same is happening when it comes to Pakistani side of Punjab, and be it Pashtuns, be it Baluch, be it the people from POJK, they are witness to all this. They can see how Pakistani Punjab. I mean, everything is centered around Pakistani Punjab, and this is why POJK, the police in POJK, they have many of them policemen. They refuse to take action against the protesters. This is why they're firing those policemen now. So where is this headed? See, if I mean, I'm not very optimistic that things will fall apart very fast, but we are getting there slowly and steadily. Uh, this is not a democratic state. Pakistan is only it's a sham democracy. It's hardly democratic. It's mostly run by Pakistan army, and POJK being you know it's mostly controlled by Pakistan army. I don't think these protests would continue for very long, because see, they'll crack the whip on the people of on these commoners who already have no hope. I just, if these people actually stand up against Pakistan army, then I then we can see something. But these protests have been going on since ages now. I just
Yeah,
hope,
3 years
I just,
concurrently.
so I just hope this time they are able to push the envelope a little further, and they bring about some sort of changes. If Pakistan army doesn't, I don't know, I can't predict it, but I'm not very optimistic that everything will fall apart soon. But maybe next 4 or 5 years, we might start seeing, some results of it.
So it's going to be a precedence that we're going to see every year around this time, because last year was around the same time, year before that was around the same time. We're going to see the same kind of protest happening in POJK, and same kind of responses from the Pakistani
Yeah,
military.
I actually see that happening in KPK and Balochistan. So, every time I thought the number of attacks have increased, now something will happen. It really doesn't get there. But then the number of attacks and the intensity of attacks have kept increasing. And now they've finally started feeling the heat in KPK and Balochistan. I don't think that the POJK has reached that stage. I might earn a lot of brickbats for saying this. POJK needs to push a little more further, and they have to reach the kind of state that KPK and Balochistan has reached, where they're harsh. The Pakistan army is really harsh.
Right. Ranjan Sir, you want to add a point to that, please?
What I was saying was, the Pakistan army and Pakistan government, they are really concerned with our bold statements by our people who matter, like Prime Minister, Home Minister, that we are now looking at POJK. And secondly, post Dhurandhar movie, we have shown how the targets were, eliminated there, and it's happening. It's going on. So, and then the regional elections are coming up. So, it's a situation is a very tense situation with all these kinds of environmental issues and real threats they are facing. So, let's see how it turns out to be.
Right.
I
With
just
that, I
hope
really
it
thank
reaches
both
that
of you. Yeah.
KPK. Yeah, I just hope it just reaches that KPK Balochistan level where Pakistan army is literally on its knees. So yeah, I hope that kind of wave of protest comes with POJK also.
Right, Lavina. Thank you. Thank you, Ranjan sir, a lot. Thank you so much. I really thank both of you for taking out the time and being here. And, my own opinion is that this is going to continue for another a month and a half before Pakistan army really comes and sits with them, because at the moment, Pakistan cannot afford another front opening, against them. The Punjabistan cannot afford another front opening against them. So they might be looking at some impasse. How are they able to do it? Let's see. But with that, I'll leave it here, and I hope to, see you next time on the debate again, because we'll be following these very closely. These, happenings in POJK for the moment. Thank you so much for everyone for being on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.